Hello and welcome to Research Methods. This is video 10. Under this, we are going to see a research design. My name is Balai. In the previous issues, now we are going to see a study design based on the reference period. The reference period refers to the time frame in which a study is exploring a phenomena, situation, event, or a problem. Studies with this perspective are so categorized as retrospective, prospective, retrospective, prospective. A retrospective study design studies investigate a phenomena, situation, or the events, problem, or issues that has happened in the past. This is a retrospective study design. They are usually conducted either on the basis of data available for that period or in the basis of respondents' recall of the situation. For example, a livelihood impacts of land reform program by Derg regime in Ethiopia. This is under retrospective study design. The second study design is a prospective study design. The prospective study design refers to the likely prevalences of a phenomenon or a situation, problem, attitude, or outcome in the future. Such a study try to or attempt to establish the outcome of an event or what is likely to happen. This is why it's called as future design. Experiments are usually classified as prospective studies, as a researcher must wait for an intervention to register its effect on the study population. Example, to measure the effect of a change in immigration policy on the extent of immigration in certain countries. The third study design that based on reference period is the retrospective prospective study design. That is passive future design or the mixed. Retrospective prospective study design focus on the past trends in phenomena and they study it into the future. A study is classified under this category when you measure the impact of an interventions without having a control group. In fact, in most before and after study, if carried out without having control where the baseline is constructed from the same population before introducing the intervention will be classified as retrospective prospective studies or past future design or past future studies. Retrospective prospective study design states a part of the data is collected retrospectively from the existing records or the past records before the intervention is introduced, and then the study population is followed to ascertain or assure the impact of the intervention. Trend studies, which become the base of the projections, fall into this category. Example, the effect of an advertisement on the sale of products. On the basis of nature of the inquiry or investigation, the studies can be classified as experimental, non-experimental, quasi or semi-experimental. The experimental study design, there are so many types of experimental designs, but some of the common ones that we use in the social science, public health, marketing and education, etc. After only design, the before and after design, the control group design, the double control design, the comparative design, the matched control experimental design, and the placebo design. Let us discuss each of these experimental design. The after-only design, here the researcher knows that the population is being or has been exposed to an intervention and wishes to study its impact on the population. Information on baseline or pretest or before observation is usually constructed on the basis of a respondent. That means a recall of the situation before the intervention or from the information available in existing records. The change independent variable is measured by the difference between the before, or that means a baseline, and the after observation. Technically, this is very faulty design for measuring the impact of intervention as there is no proper baseline data to compare the after observation with. Therefore, one of the major problems of this design is that the two sets of data are not strictly comparable. Accordingly, some of the changes in dependent variable may be attributable to the difference in the way the two sets of data were compiled. The after-only design, another problem with this design is that it measures total change, including change attributable to the extraneous variable. Hence, it cannot identify the net effects of the intervention. However, the design is widely used in impact assessment studies, as in real life, many programs operate without the benefit of the planned evaluation at the program planning stage, in which case it is just not possible to follow strictly the sequence collection of the baseline information, implementation of the program, and then program evaluation. The evaluator therefore has no choice but to adopt this design. In practice, the accuracy of this design depends on having a reasonable accurate data available about the prevalence of phenomena before the intervention is introduced. The second one is the before and after design. This design overcomes the problem of retrospective constructing the before observation by establishing it before the intervention is introduced to the study population. Then, when the program has been completely implemented or it is assumed to have had its effect on the population, the after observation is carried out to make certain impacts attributable to the intervention. The before and the after design take care of only one problem of the after only uh, design, that is comparability of the before and the after observation. It still does not enable to conclude that any changes in whole or in the part can attributed to the program intervention. To overcome this, a control group is used. The impact of the intervention in before and after design is calculated as follows. That is, change independent variable equal to the status of the dependent variable at the after observation minus status of dependent variable at before observation. This is how can we change in or calculate change in dependent variable. The third one is the control group design. In here, the researcher selects two population groups instead of one, a control group and an experimental group. These groups are expected to be comparable as far as possible in every respect except the intervention. Experimental group either receives or it exposed to the intervention, whereas the control group is not. First, the before observations are made in both groups at the same time. The experimental group is then exposed to the intervention. When it is assumed that the intervention has had an impact, an after observation is made on both groups. Any difference in the before and the after observation between the groups regarding the dependent variable is attributed to the intervention. So the impact of any intervention is equal to the difference in the before and the after observations in the dependent variable between the experiment and the control group. It is important to remember that the chief objectives of the control group is to quantify the impact of extraneous variable This helps you to ascertain the impact of the intervention. This is the end of today's program, and I thank you for your reviews. Please, if you liked, subscribe to my YouTube and share to your friends. Next time, we will learn types of experimental design such as double control design, comparative design, multi-control experimental design, and placebo design. Have a nice time. Thank you.